Hello and welcome to another tutorial. My name is Uchenna Gilbert Okiya, and this tutorial will be about motion matching, which comes in the game animation sample project that Unreal Engine has provided for free in the Fab Marketplace. By the end of this video, we should have learned how to get the motion matching game animation sample project, right? Where to get it and how to get it, how to migrate the motion sample assets to another project, like a custom project of yours, and how to activate the motion matching system in your own custom projects, and then how to set up your custom Metahuman to use motion matching system. So these are the takeaways we're hoping by the end of this class you would have gotten a hang of. So let's dive in. So the first things first is, where do we get the motion matching system? We get the motion matching system from the game animation sample project, which you're looking at currently on the screen, available in the Fab Marketplace by Epic Games for free. And if you scroll down, you can read the descriptions and you can see that it's available from Unreal Engine 5.4 to Unreal Engine 5.6. So be you using Unreal Engine 5.4, 5.5 or 5.6, you can still use the motion matching system. I'll be using Unreal Engine 5.6 for this particular video. So this is where you get it. So once you've located it in the marketplace, what you need to do is to click on the blue button, download it through your Epic launcher. In my case, I already have it, so I can view it through my Epic launcher. So through your Epic launcher, you can now download it, install it to your Epic launcher, and thereby create a new project for that, which will be coming up on the screen. I already have done that. I already have it downloaded and installed through my Epic launcher on a separate project. So for this particular video, what I'll be doing is I will have the animation game sample project downloaded and installed in a separate project, and then I have another custom project of mine that I want this motion matching system to work in. So because it is 4.5 gig and I don't want to have to re-download it every time, I want to keep it separately in a different project where I will migrate what I need from to my own custom projects. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So to do that, we're going to have to look for the blueprints folder. Once you have the project in your system, we're going to look for the blueprint folder. But let me test it so you can see what's about. So let's test it out. So how do we get this to our own project, right? To get this to our own project, what we need to do is open up the blueprint folder, and you're going to find a couple of things here, right? One of the first things we're going to be migrating is the CBP sandbox character. That's like the master character for the project. Every other character in this project is the child of this master CBP underscore sandbox character, right? So what you do is right click here, and this will open up, and we're looking for asset actions. Asset actions, then we can go to export, and under export, we're looking for migrate. Click on migrate and a window will open. When this window opens, it automatically picks what you need to be sent over to wherever I want to send it to, which is your custom project, wherever it is saved on your system. So we don't need to do anything anymore here other than click OK. And when you click on the OK, the next thing you're going to see is a window will pop up, which is looking for the content folder of the custom project you're trying to migrate the motion matching system to, right? So I'm going to go back. I'm looking for, my project is called Cool Game. That's the folder. I'm going to open that up, look for my content folder of my Unreal project. So that means I already have an Unreal project. I want this thing moved to already set up, right? Somewhere, and I'm going to migrate the motion matching system to that project. So by click on the content, I click on select video, I click on select folder, and then this will pop up. So after I selected the folder of my custom project, I now have this window pop up, right? This window pop up now is asking me that there'll be a few assets that'll be overwritten, and that's fine. Just say yes and apply all and just say yes, right? And it's just go ahead to begin the process of migrating the packages you need to your project. And we're done. So we've migrated successfully the first file we need to migrate. After that is done, the next thing is to go into our retargeted characters folder in the same blueprint file. In the same blueprint folder we entered earlier, beside it is a folder called retargeted characters, right? Open that up, and we're looking for a particular metahuman, which is this guy, right? And then we're going to just right click on him, and then we are going to go to asset action, and then export, and then under export migrate, like repeating the same process we did for the other one earlier. So we're going to do this migrate, same thing as earlier, not touch anything else of the folders. Is everything selected is everything we need. Click on OK, and then we're going to go and locate the same cool game content folder we located earlier. So cool game content folder in our real engine project, or wherever you save your real engine projects, right? And I'm going to just click on select folder, and then we're going to see the same window pop up asking us that it's going to overwrite a couple of stuff, and we'll say apply all and click yes. So now that the migration is done, this is all we'll need from the game animation sample project. We can close this and go to our own personal project. So I'm just going to click on file, come down to recent, and I'm going to go to my cool game project. This is where we moved all those migrated files assets to. The motion matching files have been moved here, so we can now use those systems in our own project. That way we don't get to corrupt the game animation sample project and always have it to always borrow from for any other project we have on our system. So now we're going to get here to confirm that the files are here. Let's go to our content and check a few things. We're going to check the blueprints first, and we can see we have the CBP underscore sandbox character here, and the retargeted file character that we exported is here. But before we can activate this motion matching character to work on our project, we have to activate a few plugins, right? So we're going to go activate a few plugins, edit plugins, and then we're going to start for the first plugin we're going to activate is going to be called pose search, right? So we're going to click on pose search, this one, and then the next one we're going to activate is called motion trajectory. Next we're going to activate is called animation warping. Next after that is called motion warping. And after that we're going to be activating another plugin called animation locomotion library. And then we're going to activate another one called deformer graph. So deformer graph is activated. And then we're going to activate one more called chooser. The top one, chooser. And then if you haven't, you're going to have to now activate your Metahuman plugins too. But I already have activated mine because we're going to be using the Metahuman to insert our own custom characters if you don't have yours already done. But if you have your character already created, that's also fine. So yeah. So once we activated all these plugins we just listed, and we have activated our Metahuman too, we can now restart for the plugins to take effect in your real engine project. Now we're back in our project. All our plugins have been activated that we need for the motion matching system to take effect. So I'm going to close this window. Now I'm going to go open my own world, my map. So this is my world. I already built this map beforehand for this project. Yeah, so I have my own built. If you have yours built, or you can just use the default map, it's fine. Just anywhere for your characters to move around and design to suit what you need, right? So this is the world I already created for my character to move around. Now we need to test if the motion matching already works in the scene, if the character can run in the scene. So we're going to go back to our blueprints here, right? And I'm going to create a blueprint class. So we're going to right click, and then we're going to create blueprint class, and we're looking for game mode base. Click on that, and we're going to call it GM underscore player. You can call it whatever you want, just something you can remember. So I'll call my GM underscore player, and once we've done that, we're going to select this, the GM underscore player we just created. We're going to go to our world settings on the right here. Now, if you don't have your world settings showing here, let's say for some reason it doesn't show beside your details panel, just go to your Windows and come down to world settings and turn that on. So yeah, once our world settings is showing with our GM player selected, right, what we need to do is the game mode override. We will need to insert this blueprint we just created. So I'm going to click on use, select your blueprint just created, and click on the use arrow beside it, and it will add it there, right? And then after that, under it, you're going to find selected game mode. We're looking for the pawn class, right? The default pawn class. The default pawn class is actually going to be the CBP underscore sandbox character. So we're going to just select that too, and then click on the arrow beside it. So click the arrow beside it just to add our CBP master character as our default pawn class. And now we can test our scene. Now you can see your characters in the scene. Migrated. Everything has been moved here with sounds and all. Everything has been moved here. Your character can run around. Right? So now for us to activate our motion matching character, watch our character use the motion matching to scale objects in the scene, we're going to have to create obstacles to put in the scene, right? So now that we have our master character run around the scene, sounds and everything, confirming that our motion matching system is working fine on our level, it's now time to customize it to our custom Metahuman characters, and also test out if obstacles, how to set up obstacles that is going to scale. So let's start with setting up the obstacles, then finalize with the Metahuman. We're going to introduce our own custom Metahuman. So now that we have our character in the scene and set, it's time to set up custom obstacles to see how it's going to interact with them in our own custom environment. So to do that, we're going to have to go to the level prototyping folder. We're going to open that up, and we're looking for level block transversal. So we're going to take that. This is the block that helps the character know how to interact with the obstacles in your scene, right? So we're going to right click on that and create a child blueprint class. Click on that child blueprint class, and then we can name that what we want. So I'm going to name that level block obstacle, or you can leave it as the default name just to know the difference. I just want something as long as you can identify which one is which. So this is the one we're going to be working on, right? Now we're going to double click that and go into the blueprint window. Now we're going to do a few things here. First things first, we don't want this cube to be shown in the scene. We only need it as the obstacle that helps the character identify how to interact with the obstacle, right? It's going to be like it's going to act as a collision instead, right? So, and then we don't need this text renderer showing. So select text renderer, go to your details panel, search for VI visibility, visible. We don't want it to be visible, so we're going to tick that to turn it off. And then we're going to select our static mesh of this cube. We're going to search for HID. We're looking for hidden in-game. We're going to tick that. So what we want is we need it only for the character to identify their collision, but we don't want the players to see this object in game, right? So that is done. Now we're going to go to now bring in the mesh that they will be seeing, the players will see. So it can be a gate, a fence, a staircase, or whatever you want people scaling through your scene, or something to help them climb through a scene. So I'm going to go back to my default scene routes, select that, and I'm going to go to add. I'm going to go and click on static mesh. The static mesh is how we're going to bring in our own mesh that the players will see and interacting with, right? So what the players are going to see, we're going to bring that in now. We can name it whatever we want. I'm going to name it fence. Fence, right? And then we're going to go to our details panel, and under static mesh here, this is where we're going to add the mesh we're trying to bring into the scene. So we're going to go to our content drawer, search for whatever you need. I already searched for mine, which is the castle wall that I downloaded from my Megascan assets, which is from the Fab Marketplace. Yeah, so select that, and then we're going to go back to the static mesh on the details panel, and then we're going to click on this use selected assets arrow, and it's going to bring that asset into the scene for us. So yes, so it's going to bring it into the scene for us. Now we have that in our scene now. The way motion matching works, this is the lowest height for the box to activate the motion matching system on your character, right? So we don't want to change the height. We don't want to reduce the height of the cube lower than what it is right now. You can increase it if you want, but right now we don't want to reduce it lower than it is right now, right? Or the character will not identify it as an obstacle to scale, or might have difficulties identifying what it is. So I repeat, as it is right now, I don't want to lower my cube to the size of the static mesh fence I brought in. I rather increase the static fence mesh to meet my cube's height. So I'm going to select the static mesh of the fence, and I'm going to choose my scale tool, and I'm going to scale it up uniformly. Yes, to this height, and I'm going to adjust it, move to, then select my cube, go to the scale, and then we're going to scale it out to cover the length of the mesh. Just do your best to make your cube and your mesh be almost the same size so that it interacts with it seamlessly, right? So I think this is fine for us to do the test. And yeah, now once this is done, we can click on compile, and then we can save, and then we can go to our scene, our wall. Then right in your scene here, you're going to find the leveled block obstacle has now taken the face of the fence, right? We can drag that into our scene and begin to place it around our scene for our character to interact with. So I'm going to just add one here. And then I'm going to duplicate it. And I can scale it up if I want to. And then click on scale and then scale it up. Because of the settings we set, remember we made sure this cube that is encompassing this our fence, the object you're seeing the scene, this cube will not be seen in game because we already ticked the hidden in game, and then we made the text renderer non-visible. Then we also made the mesh we brought in, which is the fence itself, the Megascan asset that is embedded inside it, is there's no collision on it, because we're using the cube as a collision now for the character to interact with the object. Now, when I play the game, our character, you can see all we're seeing is just the Megascan mesh that we brought in because the other object is hidden in game. And now when we approach the fence and click, you can see our motion matching is activated. Our character will scale them now. So you see, so this is how you set motion matching in your scene. So we successfully set up motion matching for our character in our scene. Now, what we need to do now is to now bring in our own custom Metahuman character to use the motion matching system. So to do that now, what we need to do is we're going to go back to our content folder, and I'm going to do a few things first. So go to our blueprint folder. There's a retargeted folder beside the CBD character or the ABB character. We're going to open up that folder, retargeted characters, and we have a Metahuman in there. Select that and then use that to replace your default pawn class, right? So just to test that out too. Let's test if the change has happened. Click on play. Yes, we now have this Metahuman. Yeah, works fine too. Now, the reason why I'm using this Metahuman, I brought this Metahuman into my scene, is because it is basically the same as any Metahuman I'm going to make, and it'll be easy for me to migrate, just interchange my character with this character. That's the best way I've seen. It's easier for you to bring your character in with that now inherits all the motion matching system you have in your scene. So what we're gonna do is duplicate this character because we don't want to ruin it. Duplicate it, right click and duplicate. Name it what you want. I'll name it rugged. And you can either use a character that is epic, has an epic rig from the marketplace if you do, or you can use a Metahuman. I have both, right? So I'm going to use this as my default pawn class. Okay. And then we're going to save. And then I'm going to open that up. Now for this to happen, I'm going to have to open up two windows with Metahumans, right? So this is the default one we have here, right? And I'm going to open up my own custom Metahuman to copy that asset over to this guy, right? So now let me go to my own Metahuman I created earlier, or you can just quickly create yours. In this stage, if you want to, but I already created mine, so I'm going to just show you quickly do the transfer. So I'm going to go to my content, and then I'm going to go to, let's get out of the way, go to Metahuman, and then this is my folder of my character. This is my character. I'm going to open this up. Then we have this one. So I'm going to have them two separate windows because I want to be able to copy across and see what I'm copying across. So I want them in two separate windows. So this is where a big monitor would be handy. So I'm going to do this. So let's do this. So this is my Metahuman, and I want to move this guy across to the screen to this guy. So we can either take the body if we want. You can replace anybody with the body, or you can just replace the asset with yours. So I'm going to select the body. So if the body you want, you can just select the body here, and then I'm going to select the body of mine. And then I'm going to click on this folder icon with the magnifying glass. It's going to act as our copy. So that's like our copy. So that's what it does. So it's going to, what that does is it locates the assets in your content browser, right? And then the arrow on the other side is how you select the assets to work where you want to. So I'm going to click on that here. And automatically it has migrated. But because they're the same skin, you can't see, right? So let me do something else. So now let's try, let's go to the torso, which is skeletal mesh here. I'm going to choose my own torso here. So which is the close top. I'm going to migrate this close to this guy, right? So now we're going to, like I said earlier, go to the skeletal mesh, click on the folder with the magnifying glass icon. It will act as a copy. It will locate your file in the content browser, and then you can use the arrow on the other side to help you paste and also migrate with the texture. So if I click on the arrow right now, it's going to bring in the clothes and everything. Now, if you don't see any updates here, sometimes it acts funny. You can see that's coming here in the mesh, but sometimes it acts funny. So you can just compile and then close this save, close the window. And then we're going to go and reopen that file. Sometimes it takes a while for it to go to the blueprints, the targeted characters, and then I'm going to open it up again. So you can see it has moved the clothes over to my character, right? We have our clothes that was here, and then but it's clashing with the legs. It has shots, right? We don't want the legs. So all you can do is select that legs. We can go search for visible in the details panel. VISI, and then we're going to turn that off. So just the legs are showing. We're cool with the shoes, right? You can use the shoes, or you can turn off the shoes if you don't want the shoes to, because it's really poking out. We can go to the feet too and do that. So turn off visibility for that. So it moves around barefooted, right? And then let's go for the head, the face. Select the face of your character, and then the face of your own custom Metahuman. And then we're going to do the same thing, locate the file in your system. And then while this is selected here, I'm going to come to the empty space here and just choose use selected asset. It's going to take a while to transfer over. It's showing off. So it's done. Like I said earlier, you might have to restart the window a couple of times for the effect to show. So I'm going to compile and then save. It's just a bug that doesn't allow it to show sometimes. So I'm going to close this window, and then we're going to go back and reopen it like we did earlier. And as you can see now, we have our character completely moved over to here. If there's a groom on the face, you can fix the groom by copying the groom too. So we're going to fix the groom. So I think it has beards. I didn't give him any beards. So if you don't want the beards, all you have to do is select the mustache or the beard or whatever it has and just reset it. So there's the eyebrow, mustache. If you don't want any of this, which our character didn't have any in ours, if you know you don't have that in yours, because I don't have that in mine. So all we need to do is select all this and then just reset. So we can do a reset for this. If you don't want the mustache, you can do a reset. If you don't want the beard, you can do a reset, you know. You can take the hair if you don't want the hair, which check it. Anything you don't want, just do a reset and clear it out. And we don't have to use that. So I'm going to say this is element 0. I don't want this. Look for it here. It's in the scene. I'm going to clear it out. And we don't have to have that. So, but if you had mustache or hair on your character, you can move that with the binding too, and even close. So let's first test it out. So let's test it out here. Let me minimize this. Compile. Don't forget to compile and save. And then, so now, like I said, so I cleared out everything. If you have hair, grooming hair and everything, you can migrate that too. You can copy that and paste that too if you want to. But if you don't have that, all you have to just click on the reset button and to clear it out. So being my custom character didn't have that hair, I just cleared it out. So we moved our character over here. You can move clothes, shoes, anything you want here, as long as they're all Metahuman epic rigged, right? Or Metahuman rigged. We can close this now. And then now let's go test our game. So if we go test this. So I test this now. And you can see our character now is now our custom Metahuman is now the character in the scene and can use the motion matching system. So yeah, this is how you get your motion matching into your project. And this is how you get your Metahuman, custom Metahuman to work with the motion matching system. And this is how you set that up all in your project. Yeah, it's an amazing tool. I hope you use it. See you next time.